Hey guys, it's Nemo and welcome back to World of Warships. Today, and if you wonder why I'm laughing, we have something a little bit different for you. This is the Tier 3 Russian Battleship. Now the Tier 3 Russian Battleship and all the other Russian battleships have just recently come out. You may see the Slava out, it's not out yet, it's in testing. But these things are the ultimate definition of Russian bias. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the game. And I play the game a lot, and that's why I keep coming back, because I love it. But there are some things that are stupid in the game. I won't say overpowered, they're just plain stupid. Russian battleships are one. Now, let's have a look at this. This is the armour scheme of the Tier 3. 127mm armour belt and 102mm armour belt, right? That's the nose, the bow armour. Now, it's the same setup at the rear of the ship. Now, you might hear the term overmatch or overmatch mechanics thrown around a lot, and this is what it means. This is a Musashi, for all intents and purposes a Yamato, 460mm guns. It cannot overmatch the bow armour of the Suvurov. The 460mm guns can overmatch 32mm of armour, that's why they can absolutely smash high-tier battleships. Except for now, the Russian high-tier battleship, the Kremlin. Slava, totally different, but I can't talk about that because it's still in testing. Now, that means that you're immune to anything bow 1. So let's go through the run-out of what we put on the ship, because we only have a 4-point captain and there's nothing really on there. So we've got main armaments mod 1 and the DADCOM mod 1. Now, our battleship captain, usually I would say go with priority target first, but we're going to go with expert loader and then expert marksman. At tier 3, we're not really going to have anything that big, but if you want to like have a SEAL club in tier 3, yeah, put your priority target on there, and we can go into other things about the ship later, definitely AR and things like that. So, how does the Suvurov, how does she play? How does this Tier 3 Russian monster play? Well, her guns have a 35-second reload, so it's not actually that good. Her frontal armour may be extremely strong, in fact so strong it can bounce 460mm shells, but the side armour is very, very soft. You hit anywhere behind that 127, 102mm area and you will get citadels for days. She can be quite soft. The thing about the Suvurov, though, is she's quite low in the water for a battleship. So, the way to play this, pretty much, is to just hit the W key and off you go. But you will see it as a little bit more intricate than that, WAS and D. But rarely will you turn this ship around and fighting from behind. A lot of times you'll watch my battleship replays and I'll get into a position where I can kite away easily. With the Suvurov and all actually, except for Slava, as I said, Russian battleships, you pretty much want to just stay bowing. The only thing that will be annoying is if you get a HT spammer. That's going to absolutely just start rocking you with high explosive shells. But at tier 3, don't expect that, so don't worry about that. The reason we don't expect that is because tier 2, tier 3, tier 1, they're so easy to blow through that not many people will sit down here and play them much at all. And that's why a lot of YouTubers and community contributors won't bother even making videos about tier 1, tier 2 or tier 3, even tier 4. I do, and the reason I do is because as I said in previous videos, I want to make a video at least on every ship in the game so that everybody has a go and has an idea. What about the new players coming into the game? Who haven't played? They need videos too. Now, this is one thing that's really the downside of the Suvurov is her accuracy. So the thing with Russian battleships is the closer you get, the more accurate your guns get. I mean, that should be without saying for every ship, but it's not. Sometimes you can be 1.5 kilometers away from a broadside ship in a German battleship and you'll spray it all around it, and it's ridiculous. But anyway, RNG, things like that, Sigma, whatever. Now I'm pushing around the side here of this cap because one big weakness that these battleships have, and it's all Russian battleships, is torpedoes. Torpedo reduction isn't very good at all, so even though you've got this massively armoured nose, it stops shells more than it stops torpedoes. If you still hit on the nose, you can still get flooded and off you go, you're going to die. So we've got an enemy Suvurov. Now all he has to do is just stay bow in. And when you fight on these bow-in ships, you have to aim at superstructure, and as you can see with the Suvurov, there's not much superstructure to aim at. You've got these massive turrets which are heavily armoured in front of your superstructure, so to try and hit the superstructure you've actually got to aim even higher again, so you're almost shooting through the forward funnel. If you do hit the forward funnel though, all you're going to do is over-penetrate. So we're coming around the corner a little bit, we're going to go bow in. We have very slow loading shells, as I said it's 35 seconds on the reload, but when you're an absolute monster it doesn't matter. So you can see there I took a heap of damage. See how the shells landed towards the rear superstructure and in that second funnel there? That's why that was able to do so much damage, but if they hit you in the front, you're not going to do too much damage at all to the front. So when you are aiming at a Suvurov, aim a little higher, or hopefully, or hope they go broadside. See here how I hit the back, I hit the rear superstructure area there. It doesn't have as much frontal armour, like the double turret sitting up above the superstructure here on the rear. It's only the one, so it doesn't actually block you off that much, give you that much protection, as you can see there. One really hard thing to hit is destroyers, but one thing you really want to get rid of in your Suvurov is destroyers. So we've slowed down quite a bit because I was expecting him to come around and torpedo, but that's not going to happen too much. I also want to make sure that my Charleston behind me is able to keep up with my push and not overextend. That's one thing that you can do very easily in a Russian battleship, is think you're invincible and overextend, but you will melt the torpedoes and high explosive just like everything else. It's just your frontal armour that is so hard to hit, so anyone shooting at the front of your ship's going to have a hard time. So we just pop a little bit of a heal. Wasn't needed, but we're going to do it anyway because we're about to push ourselves into what looks like a fair bit of a crossfire if they manage to crossfire. You'll see over the other side here, going into the enemy cap now, is Howie. He's one of my division mates. He's also in the Suvurov. So if we both keep our ships angled forward, so not even angled really, just nose on, it's going to take a lot to get us, to kill us off and dislodge us. And if we're in position the way we are, as you can see, we can crossfire almost everything together. You have very short range on the Suvurov, unfortunately, but your 12.6 kilometer guns, when they do hit, and there's a bit of a shot later on where you will see them hit. So why am I not aiming at the corvette in front of me? Well, one, I wanted to have shots at this AFK. Now I know that you shouldn't shoot AFKs while they're AFK because they can't hurt you, and the corvette is closer, but you can see that my Shenyang here is trying to have fun with the corvette, so I thought, well, he's that close, if he torpedoes, surely he can't miss, and he doesn't. And so when you've got a 35-second reload, you need to really choose your targets, because you do not want to waste shots on something that is going to die, or something that you're just not going to hit. So I don't give enough lead on the Svetlana here, unfortunately, but that's relatively tight for tier 3, that shell spread. So it does give me the 1 penetration, but 1 penetration at the rear of the ship is nowhere near as good as 1 penetration in the center of the ship, which would have given me the citadel. So as you can see here, I'm not really turning in much. Now I usually say play the objective, But I've got 2 Allied ships in there, and this is why I'm not going in. I'm just pushing my nose forward. I'm being a threat out here, out wide, because, as I said, like trying to dislodge the Suvurov from its course when it is bow on can be impossible. I mean, look at that. He did 1800 damage of high explosive, yes, but and that one there, that high explosive shell from the enemy Suvurov just went through the forward funnel there, so he didn't actually get that much damage. So bow on, these things, that's why I said earlier that they're a bit stupid. Bow on, you can almost do no damage. I mean, I've fought a Vladivostok, which is a tier 8 Russian battleship, in my Henri, tier 10 French heavy cruiser, and I just kept kiting him, and I kited him for ages, and I did 110,000 damage on that ship, and he still didn't die, and we ended up losing the game. I didn't die at the end, but the game ticked out before I could even go, and he just kept bow on to me, and I was just kiting and running, and 110,000 damage bow on, and he just, oh, so frustrating. So with the Suvurov, just stay bow on. If you've got allies in the right positions like I have here down in the cap, and I can cause crossfires, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay bow on, fire, see how tight these shells are. Look at that, nice and tight. Now it's just penetration damage there. There was no citadels. There will be citadels in the next salvo. But that's the thing with the Russian battleships. You fire dead center of the ship, you will destroy it quite easily. And this is where they get better. They get better and better the closer they get. So I'm bow on. Whatever he fires at me is not really going to hurt unless he can lift those shells up. But him, broadside at 4 kilometers, unfortunately this bloke's got no chance. Just none at all. So I'll fire, aim at the front, so it hits the center. Double citadel. See, look at that. Ridiculous if you get it right. So unfortunately I've got no post-battle results screen for you, but yeah, the results there for itself. Pretty ridiculous ship. What do I think of the Suvurov? As I said, armour layout for the entire line is completely stupid. They need to really rethink that. But if you like playing tier 3 and you're going to get stuck there, or you want to be, or you're just a SEAL clubber or something like that, and you like SEAL clubbing, I mean, I'm not mocking SEAL clubbing, it's great fun sometimes. Go down there and start playing this ship, because the armour layout won't let you down. Anyway guys, thanks for joining me, and stay safe out there.